Chris, what a wild movement for starting quarterbacks. We'll start with the Seahawks here. Sam Darnold in, as many had thought. Geno Smith out, traded to the Raiders, which we'll follow up with that in a second. I just want to talk ceiling here. When everybody thinks new starter at quarterback, people just think right away, what is the best possible outcome for my team? I think the difficult conversation with Seattle is DK Metcalf out. This wide receiver room is going to look a lot different without him and Tyler Lockett. Right. You have Jackson Smith and Jigba, an offensive line that needs work. Does Sam Darnold actually improve the ceiling of this team compared to what they had with Geno Smith?
Well, it's a good discussion, and it's not apples to apples.
Right.
Like if you asked me to take either player, I'm going to take Geno Smith, right? Okay, but not by some huge wide margin. And then I think when you couple, okay, all right, I like Geno Smith a little bit better than Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold is younger, right? He's kind of in the prime of his career. So there's, that potential to maybe he could be the guy for the future and beyond, right? And all that. I think when you take it, oh, wait, he'll take this amount of money, and Geno didn't want that, and Geno wanted a little bit more.
That's a big factor.
That's a big factor, okay? And then I think when you put that on top of, wait, Clint Kubiak, who was in San Francisco 2 years ago with Sam Darnold and wants to run the Shanahan play action, run the ball type of offense, I think he's going, well, wait. Well, one, I trust Sam Darnold. I was with him for a year. I know how good he is. I saw him practice. I saw how he operates. Two, I think he really fits that system. Because one thing I will say is Sam, play action, getting the ball quick, accurate, fast, over the middle, 10, 15-yard throws. That's where he thrives. That's where he's special, in my opinion, right? It's not the bombs and everything like that. It's like, ooh, that was accurate, and he got that out of his hand quick at like an 8 to 12-yard throw. That's where he's the most dangerous. So because of that, I go, okay, I might have had Geno a little above, but now with all those things factored in, it's very equal. If not, maybe swing to Sam Darnold. It's not the savior of the franchise here. I think what Seattle is going, we knew Geno's not the future. I think maybe Sam can be the future. I don't know if there's any quarterbacks here we like in this draft that make us, do anything drastic right now. Right. And they're picking at, 18, I believe, right?
Yep.
So that's also into it. And then I think Mike McDonald's one of those guys, too, that's just not going to make it all about the quarterback. He's not going to be like, I just want the best quarterback and quarterback. He comes from, a school of thought, Harbaugh school of thought. We're going to run the ball. We're going to be physical. We're going to play defense. We're going to have a team. We're going to do that type of way. Right? That's what I expect to see in there. So, yes. And then, now they can start to worry about their offensive line. Their defense has some pieces, and they can improve on that a little bit. And now they got to find a receiver. But I don't know if it's necessarily makes them better this second with, losing Lockett and not having DK Metcalf.
It's an incomplete
But I think they're incomplete, and I think they have a chance to be a more complete team if this offseason kind of goes the way it is, and the future, too, especially with the combination of Kubiak and Darnold.
And I think you highlighted an important point. With a young coach, they're probably looking for sustainability a little bit. And if contract talks, like they moved on from Metcalf, those are guys in flux. And I think they were just like, you know what? They held value right now. Let's get something for them while they can. Seattle right now, the 18th pick in the draft, 50th, 52nd, 82nd, 92nd.
Yeah, so
this is their chance to make the roster the way they want it.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think part of it, too, is like culture-ish. Right? We're getting rid of the Pete Carroll era. It's over now. See ya.
Right. There was some DK moments last year that I think they
probably
were like,
rubbed them the wrong way.
Yeah. And good player.
Yes.
I mean, it's going to be a good fit with the Steelers, but...
Yeah, well, he wants to be in a place where he's the guy, and we formulate the offense around me. And I think that's where he probably got frustrated. He was like, wait, we're putting in 10 plays for Jackson Smith and Jigba now? Wait, I'm the man, right? And that just it didn't work out that way. And then, of course, Tyler Lockett was there as well. And then you add on the fact that, like we've talked about, too, even with that, they can't protect long enough to even throw the ball down the field. We've been talking about their O-line, and I've said this for like 3 times the last 2 weeks. I know that we've been talking about their O-line getting better for 7 years now. It's time to get better. They got to start addressing that. They're not going to be able to be one of the cream of the crop NFC teams unless they do that. But either way, I think that's their approach. That was their take there. And you get a good damn quarterback, and you acquire some assets for Geno Smith, who was not your future, and DK, who was kind of disgruntled, not happy, wanted to change the scenery, and wanted more money.
Ton of money.
Right, and they didn't want to do that because they want to build their football team. See you later. And now it's really Mike McDonald the way he wants it to be.
Yeah, this team will be interesting to talk about after the draft because because they have a chance to do some serious damage at wide receiver and offensive line with all of those picks. Another team, we have to transition easily to the Raiders because this is where Geno Smith lands. Obviously, Gardner Minshew's kind of the out here, but this was a franchise that just needed a quarterback, Chris. What jumps out to me the most with this trade for Geno, which I like a lot,
Right.
doesn't it kind of feel like them telling you what they think of the quarterback draft?
That's the first thing I said on Monday pod.
Okay.
That was my thing.
There you go.
What I even tweeted out on Friday night, right? It was Friday night when he got traded. One of the things I put out right away is just that this, to me, one of the biggest news and stories of it all was, okay, Geno's going to the Raiders and all that, but really what it was telling me is that Tom Brady didn't like any of the quarterbacks at number 6, not named Cam Ward, because he's not going to be there at 6.
Right.
I don't care. That's not happening. But everybody else, he was going, I don't want that. Let's just go, hey, Pete, you like Geno? Okay, cool. I watched some film on him. Damn, he can throw it. He sees the field well. He's a pretty good athlete. He's tough. He's a leader. Okay, let's go with Geno, right? And again, Pete's been with Geno. He knows that. That's going to be his liaison in the locker room, right? He'll be the guy that can bridge the gap of messages for Pete and all that. So I love all of that. And now this, like I kind of said Monday too, is just buys Brady time. It buys the organization time. Now they don't have to be desperate.
Right.
Brady's going to find the guy. He's gonna. I have no doubt. Brady's got an eye for talent. He knows the game. He knows quarterbacks. He will find it. But don't just draft a quarterback or make something happen just because we need a quarterback. That's not what you want to do. That could up your team for 5, 6, 7 years. All right, so they're going to be patient, and they're going to kind of build this team as they figure out what they want to do in the next year or two at quarterback, and I think eventually I know they'll get it right with Brady at the helm there.
I think just from the ceiling conversation, this is the team where the ceiling goes way up because they have really nothing from this position.
Nope.
Now you get somebody capable in Geno, and the fact is now you can get a really good player at 6, and if you like a developmental guy, you have a shot to take him at 37.
Yes.
Like, what if Jackson Dart is there and you like him? What
Exactly
if Shadur
right.
falls and you go up from 37 to go get him in the end of round one?
I know. Hey, listen,
But you
there's
don't
definitely
have
you can
to
look
now
at a landscape
6.
and think all of these guys might fall other than Cam Ward.
Right.
I mean, there's definitely, if you look at the draft and play, and again, I don't know the draft in totality yet, but I know a lot of the top names, and you kind of play it out and you play a what's happened to free agency and the quarterback, right? It doesn't take like more than 1 or 2 teams to pass on the quarterbacks and then go, oh shit, no, they're falling. Like there's like 20 picks in a row where these teams aren't taking quarterbacks. Like it's not going to happen. So exactly though. It gives them the flexibility to do that. They got one guy in their hand. He's good. We know that. And if somebody we really like falls at the right spot where we think the value makes sense, then we'll make that happen. So we'll see where it goes. But it does help their team. And two, on top of that, Pete Carroll, he doesn't want to put everything on a rookie quarterback. Pete Carroll knows he's not coaching here for 7 years.
Right.
He knows this is probably going to be 2, 3, 4 years at the most. So he wants a guy that can hit the ground running and do that. I've kind of liked what they've done in free agency too. They've had getting Alex Kappa improves their O-line a little bit.
Right.
We talked Geno, certainly.
Jeremy Chin, good value deal.
That's what I'm talking. And they have Patrick Graham's a damn good D coordinator.
Right.
So you get Jeremy Chin there. I like that. Taking a flyer on Eric Stokes, where if he could be healthy, the former first-round pick, he could be something. I was interested to see what was going to happen with Malcolm Kuntz because I think he's one of the under-the-radar better pass rushers in football.
Without a doubt.
Right? And if he was healthy, I think people would be shocked at the money Kuntz would probably have gotten in the free agent market. This is one where the injury helped the Raiders. Kuntz probably would have got $20 million on the market if he was totally healthy and playing the way he was before he got hurt. But I liked all of that. And of course, the biggest thing they've done is they've made Max Crosby happy, so they don't have to worry about him getting disgruntled and wanting to get traded or get out of there.
Trayvon Merrick out the door on a monster deal. That could net them a 4th-round compensatory pick in 2026. Nate Hobbs with a monster deal from the Packers. That could net them a 5th-rounder. So the Raiders kind of getting both. They're getting better, but they're also thinking about the future.
I like Nate Hobbs. He's a good player. I thought that was a good signing by the Packers. Morrig, listen, that would be another one, and we'll talk about Carolina, I think, a little while, but they spent some money, and they spent it. There was some of it where I was like, whoa, that's a lot. You sure you just want to make it rain like that? But they let it go.
Another team with a new quarterback under center, Justin Fields to the Jets. Aaron Rodgers obviously out, Chris.
How you feeling? J-E-T-S.
I actually, listen, I'm not saying he's going to be the guy.
Right.
But when your options were him, Marcus Mariota, Carson Wentz, I think they just don't think Tyrod could stay healthy. They like Tyrod, but they like him as a backup. It's a why not for me.
Right.
The money's not crazy at all. You're paying him $20 million, and you're spreading it out over time. I think this is just Aaron Glenn telling you, I just want to run the hell out of the football. And this guy brings an element of running the football from the quarterback position that we just haven't had. So it's a flyer. Like, it's nothing more than that. It's not them betting the house.
Yeah.
As you see, Justin Fields' performances against Aaron Glenn's Lions in 5 career games. Obviously, he torched them on the ground, Chris. He averaged 90 rushing yards.
Yeah, that's the part. And I think your thought's right. I'm with you there.
Like, what do you have to lose here? Do you want to play out a season with a guy that you already know what he is, or do you want to play out a season with a guy that maybe there's something?
There is something. We have
something to tap into.
It is going in the right direction.
Right.
Now, it's taking a little while, and it's still not where you want it to be. And I would still tell you it's below average for an NFL starting quarterback, right? But his arm is strong. He can make explosive plays with that.
He knows Garrett Wilson.
He knows Garrett. That's right. He knows got a history with him. I do think that you're right with Aaron Glenn. He wants to play defense, run the ball, control the clock, run the quarterback design run. I'll come up with a few creative blitzes and coverages. We'll create a few turnovers with my defense because we're going to be exotic and do different stuff that the Jets haven't done on the defensive side of the ball in a few years, right? So, yeah, with all of that, I do get the thought. Let alone, here's the other part of it. The money is not binding. It, like we kind of just talked about, it gives them flexibility.
Right.
Right? I mean, there's what he's making is chump change for starting quarterbacks in the NFL. It's nothing. It doesn't tie their hands to anything. Like, if they wanted to draft Shedeur Sanders at 7, this is not like Kirk Cousins. We gave him $100 million.
Right.
This is if they drafted Shedeur Sanders at number 7 and you still have this contract there. I don't go, well, that was so stupid. Why would you have wasted all that money if you knew you were going to draft a quarterback that was going to be the future? So it really gives them the option to do anything. And I do wonder that a little bit. Will they still be in the quarterback market? If they just do this one to go, hey, at least we got one. Now we're not like pressured or desperate to do something in the draft or whatever else if the guy we want's not there. Let alone, I think it'll bring a style of football like you're talking about that fits how Aaron Glenn wants to play.
Yep.
And there is the, hey, he is getting better, and maybe we can finally get him to a spot here where it's like, oh, shit, look at him throw the football. Wait, he turned the corner, and all of a sudden we got a starter. So, yeah, there's a lot of possibilities there that I like, and I'm in favor of it, too, for the Jets. I think it was smart.
I think schematically, too, with Engstrand coming over from Detroit, this is a team that never went under center with Aaron Rodgers last year. It was shotgun. It was pistol. They want Justin Fields under center working play action. Like, they just didn't have that in their arsenal last year. And it completely killed any play action passing down the field, and it kind of destroyed Breece Hall's season as well.
It completes physicality running downhill.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason that you see the majority of the good running teams in football get underneath the center and run.
Look at the Lions.
Yeah, the Lions, the 49ers.
Right.
Now, I know the Eagles could get away with it. They got a quarterback and an offensive line and a running back
They're
that
a
are
little
special.
Unique. Right.
And same with the Ravens. They can get away with it, too, because of their quarterback. And their ability to run equals the playing field. But even the Ravens got underneath the center a lot more this year. I bet you this year was the most Lamar Jackson ever got underneath the center in his career. So, yes, there's a lot of benefits to that. As we know, running the football, that's a value right now in the NFL, and it's still the number one the best way to get explosive plays is play action pass.
Our last one is the Colts that we hinted at. They bring in Daniel Jones. This is an open competition with Anthony Richardson. I frame it like this to you, Chris. Does he have a shot at winning the job, or do you think this is the classic, man, like we got a guy in here, but Anthony Richardson better win this competition?
Yeah, this is if you made me bet, he's going to win the job.
Right.
And that's where I love this move for the Colts. I don't know if I love it for Daniel Jones, all right? And just hear me out a little bit, right? So, like, first is training camp practice, where this is going to be settled on the field. Daniel Jones is going to be a machine. He's not going to mess up in training camp practice.
The rhythm throwing.
Right. It's just he's going to hit every open target. Right, he knows how the NFL works. He's gonna know after a few days of training camp, he's gonna be like, "Oh, I know what our defense is doing. I got it. I've seen them for 6 days in a row and 2 practices every day." Right? He's gonna make the right read, make the right decision. He's gonna run the offense. It's gonna look sharp. Right? All of that. So yeah, in my heart of hearts, I feel like he will win the competition. I think it is a real competition that way. But like, so hear me out with the rest of this now. Now I love it for the Colts, because Daniel Jones is the perfect guy that he makes it a competition. Like if they got Aaron Rodgers, like there's no competition. That's over. Like he's taking over. This really will drive Anthony Richardson. Daniel Jones is good. He's better than people realize, but it's not like a world beater to where Anthony Richardson's going to be like, I'm not even really have a chance here to start. This is not going to happen. So all of that is perfect, okay? And for the Colts, when a big year for Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard, who I'm fans of, they're going to get fired. So they got to get
spent
Daniel.
Like it. Cam Bynum and Charvarius Ward.
So, yes.
Got a Brinks truck.
Right. And I'll get to that too in a second here, right? But either way, yes, that I understand them getting Daniel Jones because they could be fired. I'm a big fan of Shane Steichen. Okay, his offense was 13th in football last year, and he had a quarterback that couldn't throw the football. That just tells you how good they are. They scored points. They were competitive in every game. Now you got a guy in Daniel Jones who can throw the football, and let's not forget, Daniel Jones can really run.
That's my big question. Can you basically keep the playbook almost exactly the same?
Yes.
I would think so.
Yes. Yeah. You know, maybe there's a few plays where you'd go, I trust Anthony Richardson running between the guard and tackle box like the lower his head. But Daniel Jones, as you know, and as anybody knows that's met him, is a big sucker, like as big as Anthony Richardson. No doubt about it. It's going to be like, whoa, he's taller than Anthony Richardson, and he weighs as much or if not more. Daniel Jones is like every bit of 245.
I like big sucker instead of big
sucker.
That's a good
the
one.
big is only my dad.
Yeah,
so
there's only one of those. Yeah.
But so hear me out with the rest of this. Where I don't like it for Daniel Jones and where I would like to him stay in Minnesota is I would have loved to have seen him just recalibrate, take a year off, not take the year off, but just refresh yourself physically and mentally. Be
the
around
Darnold Niners school of thought?
Exactly.
Like you're somewhere great for a year behind the scenes.
You're getting rebuilt. Yeah. You're learning some new tricks of quarterback and how to play, and you're being taught by a guy that's going to teach you to look at defenses and offensive plays a little differently. That is going to make you a better player, right? And there won't be the pressure of like, hey, you got to beat somebody out and you got to start. It's like, no, JJ's the guy, and if he falters, though, you could come in and be Superman.
Sure.
And save the day for us on this really good Vikings team. So that's where I liked Minnesota's position. Now we're into, hey, here we are, training camp time. Let's check in on the Colts. It's a quarterback competition. It's Daniel Jones against Anthony Richardson. And you're going to have some Colts fan be like, what? Daniel Jones? We drafted the franchise at 4, and we brought in Daniel Jones? Right? So there's going to be that. And then God forbid he wins the job. And they go 1-2 to start, or 0-2. It's right away going to be, well, what did you think was going to happen with Daniel Jones? He didn't you watch what happened with the Giants? Duh. What a dumpster fire we are here at Indianapolis, right? And that's where I don't love that. So for Daniel Jones's purposes, I will be rooting for Anthony Richardson to win the starting job.
Right.
And if he falters, then Daniel Jones can come in and be the star. And I'm not rooting for Anthony Richardson to falter. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
Don't take that. But I just thought with the Daniel Jones signing, I'm trying to give you both sides. Great for the Colts. Daniel Jones, I questioned it a little bit. All right?
And he chose this.
I know. He chose it.
He wants to play.
The playing thing is it's hard. I know. As a fellow meathead ex-quarterback, I know. It's hard to turn down playing for all the other things I said. He's looking at it going, damn, I don't give a shit. I'm 27, whatever age he is, right around there. I'm in the prime. I want to play right now. And I want to show people. But, I wish I could have got in his ear a little bit. There's worse spots to be. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, Shane Steichen's awesome. Those receivers are a lot better than people realize. That running back's awesome. They lost some old linemen. But they are improving the D, which you were alluding to a little bit.
Spent big on the secondary.
Big money. Like, listen, I didn't think Cam Bynum was going to get that type of money. I'm not going to lie.
The safety market exploded.
But, the secondary just all together. But what I do think I look at here, 4 years, $60 million, $15 a year is not, not killing you. And if you think he's one of the top safeties out there or in football, then I get that. And I think he's around that conversation. I do. Here's the other aspect where I think it makes sense with Cam Bynum. Lou Anarumo runs a complicated defense. They fell off in Cincinnati when they lost Jesse Bates and some of the safety play. The guys that were quarterbacking everything they did on the back end. Yeah. Right. It was an issue. It was. I know from people in the building there, everything. So Cam Bynum comes from a defense in Minnesota that similar. They did a lot of shit. You got to be able to, right. So now he has that guy, Lou Anarumo, that he can trust. And then Charvarius Ward, he had a down year last year. in San Francisco, and he had some family personal issues that I think certainly hurt that.
Yeah.
Right? I think he can still run. He's still long. And this is a guy in Lou Anarumo who doesn't live in man-to-man. He likes to play zone more than not, and these guys will be really good at doing that, and they needed to improve their secondary. So I liked it. It might have been a hair more expensive than I thought, but I still like the moves for the Colts. Thanks for watching Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Hey, just because the season's over, it doesn't mean we're over. We ain't going anywhere. The NFL never dies.
We're staying right here. Hit subscribe. We got every NFL move. We'll react to that. Plus, Chris has got 4,719 draft prospect profiles to do.
Thanks again for watching. Subscribe. You know where to find us. Peace out, homies.